that's good because you could have this game go the wrong way at the end and really feel bad. So, that's not lost. But outside of that, I'm just really not pleased how we performed today, even after kind of, messing around early and missing a field goal, not converting, from the 3-yard line on 4th and goal. To come through all that and go up 2 scores with 7 minutes left, and then put ourselves in a bad situation by letting them score a touchdown and then not finishing off the drive like we had previously, and putting our defense back out there. So just really disappointed in that part. So it's on me. Maybe I got to figure out a better way on these 11 a.m. kicks because, we had two losses last year on them and obviously didn't play well today. So credit to them, too. Those guys played really well. They took a lot of risk on defense and came through on a lot of them with all the blitz zero. Finally made a play, Caden Lee late against it, and in the first play of the 4-minute there to Daquan. But those guys played really hard, really physical after a long road trip here, and really early kick for them. So not to our standard. So I hope nobody's pleased with that.
Lane, how would you assess Trinidad's performance today, and was there ever any thought of putting Austin in?
Trinidad started slow. Missed really critical in route there. That would have made up for it. 3rd and long there. He did make some plays, especially on the drive at the end of the first half. But overall, he did some good things. Made a really critical play, obviously, on the scramble touchdown, but did not play consistently like he had. So is what it is. You ain't gonna play perfect every week, and I still played 20 of 29. 2 touchdowns and throwing and 1 running. So did some good things, but not as consistent as we need to be, and we weren't around him, especially in protection. They took a lot of risks, like I said, with some blitz zero. We had some guys which needed a little time, and we weren't able to get them off, or we missed them.
Lane, how would you assess Keywan's day?
Yeah, probably the one guy that stood out on not a really good day as a team. Electric energy, making people miss. He had another really good run that got called back on a hold that really was a great effort run. And if we all played with that effort today, we wouldn't be feeling like this. So, again, we survived. So, maybe you guys have heard me talk about reserve judgment of what's bad and good, and maybe we'll look back and say this was good to have, this game to wake us up and stop, reading where we're ranked and those things. Because, like I said, just on the radio, like we're ranked 4, we looked about the 84th team in the country throughout that game. So quit reading the rat poison and make plays. Don't get a penalty by hitting a quarterback in the head when we're off the field, and finish drives.
Just your kind of overall assessment of this, the defensive line. It felt like that second half they started getting pressure, but really, like Eccles was the one kind of leading the pressure all day.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot of opportunity, I felt, in the first half. I don't have it for me. I felt like there weren't a lot of third down, rush opportunities because they did a really good job. And they milked the clock through the game. That's what they do, especially in this game. And that can be really frustrating on the other side. But they didn't really get a lot of opportunities, I felt. Got a little more in the second half. And then made some good rushes there at the end. But sometimes that's, we're not blitzing a lot and playing coverage. So I thought, came alive late. But those guys played really good. Made a lot of plays. The quarterback played really good, which he had been. They had all 3 playing early and then settled on this guy, and this guy had played really good lately.
Lane, kind of going off of what Jake was talking about there, William Eccles just seems like comes on more and more every single week. Made a big play there at the end of the game. Just what have you seen from his growth and development over the course of the year?
Yeah, he's really come on for a young player, and even where maybe early on he's more of a run guy, and now has showed up to where we've got him in passing situations, and he's done a really good job, really productive, plays really well. Doesn't worry about all the stuff he has on or, gold teeth he's got in. He just lines up and plays, which is how it should be.
Deshaun Stribling, Lane, one of his best games of the year. Daquan Wright again stepped up. Just your thoughts on the receiving core today?
Yeah, they didn't get a ton of opportunities, kind of missed 2 deep balls that would have been interesting if they would have been placed better for them to make the plays on. Obviously, Caden Lee made a really big play late, which was really good. So I think they did all right.
You alluded to it in the opening statement, finding a better way to approach these 11 a.m. kicks. Could you sense, how did you feel the energy was pregame with the team?
I don't know. We're a morning practice format team that should equate to playing well in the morning. Used to, but didn't feel like that. I thought our red zone offense showed up about like our student section did today. Very similar. So that's on us. I told them all week, man, the crowd probably won't be what it's been. You're going to have to create your own energy. And, we did that a little bit. And I feel like the game, we finished that first drive, has a really good feeling of one of those good games going to it. And it's why everything's critical. We don't finish that drive, they get some, momentum to themselves, hey, we can stop these guys. And so.
Lane, you alluded to the team not playing up to the standard that you have for them, especially in the first half. The offense seemed dysrhythmic. Aside from what Washington State was throwing blitz-wise, what did you see that was causing some of the kind of Trinidad and the receivers not being in sync?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. They played really deep a lot of times on first and second down, which is why the runs were effective. And then they were very aggressive on third down with a lot of zero and blitz zero. And that'll make you become big little in the game, because you're trying to throw double moves, you're trying to beat them. They got to us a number of times, got some sacks in that, caused the fumble, so we couldn't get the field goal. And finally Caden scores on one, so that forces the game to be a little bit non-rhythmic, I guess is you say. And but if you hit those early, then they get out of it, and we didn't. We gave them momentum by letting them stay in some zero and some blitz zero. And credit to them for staying aggressive.
Jake, question up top. Lane, you kind of said it yourself that you were almost questioning how the energy was pregame. Would you attribute the performance to that more of the guys overlooking the opportunity, or give more credit to Washington State and how they played?
I give a lot of credit to them how they played. But again, I think momentum is so critical. Little things flip it. If we just finish that first drive, whatever, I'm guessing it was 75 yards, probably a touchback. So 75-yard drive instead of 72 yards, 7-0, feels different. They kind of got to, play a little different, and, you give them momentum. And that play, and in the third quarter, we finally get them in a third and long. We stop them. We hit the quarterback in the head, just absolutely, completely undisciplined. And that keeps them alive, and they score a touchdown, and now there's a total different feeling of the game versus we have the ball back versus them having 7 points. So those things are really critical when you talk about momentum and energy.
Anything else for Coach?
I know this, as you just alluded, isn't the standard that you have for this team and for this program, but essentially, how do you kind of gauge these close games this year compared to some of the close games you lost last year? I mean, to look at it now, winning a close game like today, winning a close game like against LSU, winning a close game against Arkansas, what are some of the differences from your perspective in terms of the benefits of winning these close games this year compared to some of the close games that you lost last year?
Well, they create a lot more stress and anxiety, I know that, probably on our fans too. Really, which is kind of strange, almost all the games this year, if you look, you've had 2-score leads. and then we score to get a 2-score lead, and then they go down and score. I think as you look back to the year before, you say, okay, we were 0-3 in 1-score games, but I don't think we ever even trailed by 2 scores an entire season, which I don't even know that stat, if there's anybody else in the country that did that last year. So we kind of dominated 10 games, won by double digits or more, and then lost 3 close ones, 2 of which we were ahead almost the entire game. It's a much different year, much different team that we have, and this is more usual. You got to win close games. And so luckily we've done that, but it's not like we're scoring right at the end, to win. The good thing is they're all 2-score games, including Washington State, including LSU, Kentucky, Arkansas. I think they're all 2-score games right there where we stop them, then you win by 2 scores or go and score again and win by 3 scores. So we got to fix that when we get up. We got to close them out and not let them score. And now we're in these dangerous 1-score games.
Lane, what was the message to the guys in the locker room after a game like this?
Just really disappointed. Hope they don't feel good about it. We didn't sing a song or any of that stuff. So I just wanted to make sure they understand this is not the standard that we play with here. A lot of guys from different places, maybe not used to what our standard is, and that's not what we're supposed to do. We get paid a lot, they get paid a lot, and a lot of people come to our games. That ain't the product we're supposed to put out. So I just want to make